Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Gluu webinar. My name is Louise, and I will be your host today, as alongside my colleague Søren. Just for you guys joining our webinar that might not know our product so well, Gluu is a business management platform that makes processes easier to understand, execute, and improve. And today we'll focus on the execute part of Gluu. You are, of course, more than welcome to ask questions during the webinar. Just put them in the chat for us, and we'll make sure to address them during the webinar. We follow the same method as we always do with these webinars, so we'll have two parts. One part where we talk a little bit about the link between task and process management, and then a part where we show you what task management looks like in Gluu. So let's get started. So task management is not really traditionally considered to be part of business process management tools. But Søren, as the founder of Gluu, could you maybe tell us a little bit about why you decided that task management should be part of Gluu?
Yeah, sure. So before I go into that, I'll explain a little bit about how we see task management. I think for any company, getting important recurring tasks done in time is critical. And often it really just takes too much time and too much management attention. You quickly end up in firefighting and so on. And then when I'm talking about such tasks, it could be all kinds of cleaning tasks, safety procedures, maintenance, opening up a store, closing a store, onboarding people, onboarding customers, everything that you're doing more than, say, 4 times a year. That's our rule of thumb. So the typical situation with such tasks is that each person who's responsible, they record their own tasks in their own ways, maybe in to-do in Microsoft, or some use spreadsheets. And sometimes these tasks are fed from different systems. There is typically no common place. So we build Gluu since tasks are often coming from processes, we build them as a way to combine the delegation of the task with the instruction, how do you do the task, and the documentation of actually having done the task. So if you can combine these different elements that you need in order to continue to finish and do a task correctly, then you save a lot of time and you avoid a lot of errors. So that's how we see it. And we talk about 2 different main types of tasks. One are the time recurring tasks, the one you can put in a calendar. Every Friday we need to do our time registration. Every month we need to close our books or something. All these tasks can be put in a calendar. They're kind of one-off. And the other type of tasks would be the flows where, for instance, onboarding a customer, a lot of people have to do a lot of things in sequence. Or it could be some kind of asset registration where you have to set up a maintenance plan. So things are happening by different people in a sequence. So these are the main types of recurring tasks that we deal with. But Louise, you've been quality manager in a factory. What are the practical problems that you remember from that time? And also, of course, from all the customers you have been working with since joining Gluu?
Well, that's a very good question, Sam. I think the problems that I have witnessed previously will be quite familiar to most people in an array of different industries, because I was in manufacturing, and what I saw was that tasks were often something that was owned by an individual. they had the responsibility to do a certain task. And because of that, there were issues with, say, motivational level from day to day of that individual, influencing how they did the task on a certain day. Maybe it was a task that was carried out by different individuals on different days, and then we saw quite a lot of difference in how the task was actually carried out, because the task just followed the individual, so to say. And then there's, of course, the issue of if you have a task expert, then when you have absence or holidays and that person is not there, then the task is not carried out, maybe not at all, or maybe not as well as when that task expert does it. And it also, when tasks are carried by an individual in an organization, then it's very difficult to get a good overview of what's going on, how are we doing in a certain area, how are we performing here with this task at a certain time. And you also lose the ability to learn from that task by looking at how it's been carried out over time, because you don't have any of that data that can show you where you should and could improve. And then, of course, when we're talking about documentation, paper forms, filling in a piece of paper with the information about the task that you completed as an individual. I mean, that's all well and good, but you just generate so many paper forms then filled in line by different employees during a month or a year, and you cannot search any of that data or follow up on any of that information by comparing it. That's a manual and very heavy task to do if you have everything on paper. So I think those are probably the main issues, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Could you show us some concrete examples of how our customers use Gluu for tasks, just so people know a little bit more specifically how it's done, how we manage it? Not in detail, but just generally.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that I really liked when, before I worked for Gluu, I worked for a company that used Gluu as a tool. And that link between processes and tasks was actually one of the main reasons Gluu was chosen as a tool, because, like you said, often task management is handled outside of your process management tool. So you have one or more separate tools for that, but linking them together created a much stronger sense of responsibility and ownership for all the frontline employees regarding their processes. And that's something that can be very hard to achieve, especially with frontline employees. But let me show you one of the ways.
While you're doing that, I forgot to mention, of course, this is also one of the good reasons why tasks and processes are connected, because the task completion of it will document that people are actually following the process, and that will make it also a lot easier to continuously reference and look at the processes and the work instructions. So
yeah, and I think that's really important, Søren, because often, let's say you have this great big process landscape in an amazing process management tool, and that's all great, and that can be say a strategic tool in your organization. But knowing whether the processes are actually being followed, that's much more difficult to find out if task management and processes are not linked together. So The process I have shared with you on the screen now is just an example. And like Søren said, I used to be a quality manager, so I chose a process from that field, internal audit, to demonstrate how process management can be done, task management can be done in Gluu based on processes. So we're looking at the internal audit process here, and like you can see, it's Gluu is very similar to other process management tools. You have swim lanes with the roles. Of course, a quality manager is part of this process, and we can see the job description here and everything. So that's great. And of course, an auditor is also represented, and a process owner. Within the swim lanes, we have all our activities. And if you click an activity, you'll see a work instruction. And a work instruction in Gluu can be text, it can be images, it can be videos, like in this example. So you can include a bunch of different things in your work instructions. But then the thing about Gluu that's a little bit different is that you can also add tasks to your work instructions. And if you add a task to a work instruction, that task is automatically linked to the role and the users with that role. So if you look at this process, you see that in the center we have an activity box called Carry Out Audit. And it has a little orange circle on it, and with a 1 in there, indicating that this activity currently has 1 task active. There's another one here as well, the one in the top right corner called Approve Closing of Findings. Here's also 1 task active. And the carry-out audit task is linked to the auditor role, and the approve closing of findings task is linked to the quality manager role. Excuse me. And like Søren said, we have 2 types of different tasks in Gluu. So we have scheduled tasks, which are reoccurring tasks that reoccur with a set frequency. So for instance, in this process, we have a scheduled task that is for the quality manager to follow up on the status of the internal audits that are going on, the progress of them. And we want her to do that maybe once every month, maybe once every quarter, just do a quick status. And so to help her remember to do that, we link that task to this process. And as you can see here, we're in the top right corner, we're logged in as Kate, and she has the quality manager role. And she has a task pending currently, the one that we looked at over here. So if I go to Kate's overview page, we see that she has a number of tasks showing here that she has to take care of. And one of them is the very one we just looked at in our process for internal audit, follow up on internal audit progress. And Kate now has the opportunity to choose the task, and she can see her work instruction if she needs any information on how to do it. And then she can just simply complete the task. And this task shows in, let me just open this up for you, shows in our task log as well. So you can always see the tasks that were done. You can see the task that we just did now also appears on here. And the way you do it in Gluu behind the scenes is that you just set up this task to repeat itself. So let me just turn on edit mode and click this task and use it as an example to show you how the scheduled tasks work. So you simply just set it up. In this case, you see for every quarter. So it runs in March and June, September and October. It starts on the last day of the month. Then this task just repeats itself every quarter for Kate, so we simply remind her to do that. And that is one type of task in Gluu. And these are all standalone tasks. That's a good way to describe them. But often your tasks in a process will be linked to each other in sequence, like you mentioned earlier, Sam. If we use this process as our example, we have an internal audit case. And if we go to our case page for this process, you see here that we have 4 active cases, audits in different weeks. And if we unfold them, we can get a little bit more information about them. We can see the tasks that were done and the tasks that are coming in the future, all the gray ones. The green ones are completed and the orange ones are active. The next active task in this case is to be done by Eliza, because Eliza is an auditor in our demo company. She can access it here if she wants to. She can click it and she can see the form that we would like her to fill. We also put in a little video for her to help her complete this task if she needs it. Something that's very neat about Gluu is that we send these tasks out automatically to the right people, because we're very focused on making it easy for the end user as well to use the system. The tasks will show up on their Gluu overview. They'll receive a notification in their email or in Teams, whatever your organization prefers. And they also have the option of completing the task in our Gluu app as well. So they don't have to go to the desktop version and try to navigate that, because in the app they only see their work instructions and their tasks. Very clean and simple. But let's just stay on the cage page for a minute, because as you can see, these cases here, they have progressed a bit further. So they have several completed tasks already, and only one open task left. What's great about task management is that everyone involved in a case can always see, so what's the progress of this case? How far along are we? We can click one of the completed tasks and see, okay, so what did my colleague enter here in this form? She found a few non-conformities in this case. You also have the calendar view to give you a different kind of overview. Now I've zoomed a little bit much, so it's difficult for you guys to see on this case. This one's a little bit better. It shows you how much time did we spend completing the different tasks, and also if there are open tasks like the orange one here, how long has it been active for without being completed. If you want a more, say, user-friendly report, or maybe a report to share with your organization or with a customer, you always have the option to download a PDF version as well. And the PDF version simply shows you an overview of the case in a more readable format. And you can do that for all individual cases. But you also have, let me just open it up for you so you can see it. So it shows you the progress, how many tasks were already.
Zoom a little bit on that.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So as you can see here, it tells us how much time did we spend on this case at the top. It tells us when the case was started and who created it and other general information like that. And then we see all the details of the tasks that are completed. So we see that Eliza has completed a few tasks here. She filled in one of our forms and she added a photo to that form using our mobile app, taking a picture and just adding it directly to the form. And we also show that in the report here. If you prefer to have an archive of all your finished cases, you can also link everything to automatically sync with SharePoint. Then we just create folders for you and place everything in SharePoint. So you have a lot of different options for good reports. And then the final thing I want to show you is that you also have the option to take this all this data to Excel, or via our open API, you can send it to, say, for instance, Power BI, so that you can work with the data, maybe combine it with data from other systems to get that full overview of your business. So I would say that's case management in the short version. Is there anything you would like to add to that?
Maybe you could open up the simple view for external parties. Just want to show how you can get the knowledge for completing the task, but also comment and so on in a single place.
Yeah, sure. So you have the option in Gluu to involve not only employees within your organization, but also employees outside of your organization. Say you have a supplier that you cooperate with quite a lot, and you would like to get all that information related to a certain case in all in one place. You can do that in Gluu. We, for instance, have some construction customers using Gluu that way. So when they have a project, they run it as a case in Gluu, and then they just ask all parties to add their information to the case. It's very simple to do. I will just do this. Excuse me, simple version. Let's do Eliza, because she's our auditor. So we'll share the case with her. Then we just take the link that we just generated here, and you send that link to whomever you would like to access your case. So here we see that Eliza's task that she's about ready to do in this new internal audit case is shown here. But because Eliza is also involved in other cases that we shared with her externally, they will also show here. You, of course, have the option to decide how much information you want to share with an external party. So maybe you just want to share one specific task and not show them anything else in the case. You can do that. Or maybe you want to show them their task and the work instruction, but you don't want them to see the entire process diagram. Well, then you can choose that as well. So that's really up to you. But the task is now available for Eliza to do here as an external party, and she can fill in the information in the form and submit the task once she's done that.
Yeah, then she has the work instruction at hand.
She does. It's
She
right here.
knows how to do this, and she has she can upload different files and images, right?
Exactly.
And she could also make some comments if she had some. Can you show me that?
Yeah. Well, it depends on what you how you share the task, if it's possible to make comments or not. So in this case, she cannot make a comment because we don't want an external party to be able to do that. We only allow that for maybe for some cases, or some of our most well-known suppliers, or for internal employees in the organization.
Yeah, so I guess the point is that an end user could see a view like this, or they could use the app for a simple way of combining the understanding of the task with the completion of it, and then the documentation. That was a little bit the point, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because then what you get is the information also from that external party participating in your case as an integral part of the case, instead of being an email that you have to store in a folder structure somewhere and remember to, okay, I have to call it something that links it to this case, or so you don't have all these loose ends all over the place. You get everything nice and simple in one location.
Yeah, great. We got a question. Which tasks should be managed via Microsoft Planner and which via Gluu? I mean, I would say, as an answer to that question, we also use Microsoft Planner in Gluu, and we typically say that if something is a one-off, just a little thing, an ad hoc task, not connected to any process or anything like that, then it's Planner, or it's to do, or but as a collaborative tool. But if it's something that happens at least 4 times a year, then better put it in a process in Gluu, and then make it tied to certain roles rather than individuals. That would be the question. But Louise, do you have anything else to add, or should we just end it here?
Well, the only other thing I think might be worth showing, you just gave me a minute or two now to reflect upon the things I've told you, is maybe that you can actually add some scheduled tasks to your cases if you want to, because in a case like this, tasks are normally just activated in a sequence. So when the first task is done, the second task is activated. And when the second task is done, the third task is activated, and so on. But you can actually also add scheduled tasks, which is quite helpful. This process is called managed fixed capital assets. In all, say, manufacturing companies, but also a lot of other companies, you'll have capital assets of some sort. And you need to manage those. And if it's machines of any kind, they usually need to be maintained or calibrated, or at least checked once a year, maybe once every 6 months. And you can set that up in Gluu as well. So if we take a look at what a case looks like in this process, you see it's very similar to the internal audit cases that we looked at a minute ago. But as you can see here, we have 4 tasks that have already been completed, but we also have a couple of tasks here that have not been completed yet. And if you notice at the very top of the last 3 white activity boxes here, they're called year 1 calibration, year 2 calibration, and remove asset from use, you'll see a date at the very top, because these tasks will start on a specific date that we set when we started the task. So this asset needs to be calibrated and serviced on the 16th of February next year, and on the 13th of February the year after that. And then we'll take the asset out of commission the following year. So we have things going on here at a certain time, even though it is a case flow with a sequence of tasks. We decided that this will happen 1 year apart.
Yeah, maybe I should also add, when we talk about ad hoc tasks and planner and so on, the little plus that you see below the different tasks actually is an opportunity to add an ad hoc task. So let's imagine that we suddenly find out that year 1, when we're doing service of this machine, this particular Caterpillar equipment, then we also need to do a special thing, and then we could add that one. So it's so we don't have to go someplace else to do it. So it's just, I guess, a realization that while you're working with standard work and with standards, there's always going to be exceptions and need for flexibility, and this makes it easier to manage all those things still in the context of your process. And then, of course, if you keep doing that, well, then maybe you want to put it in as a general part of your process. Just wanted to add that.
Yeah, exactly, because you don't want to be building your case from scratch every time you perform or execute a certain process. But we do, so that's based on templates, but we do allow, like you said, for the flexibility or the option of adding a task to your case flow if need be.
Yeah.
And maybe, Søren, we should also mention that we've been talking about cases and tasks and how different people can do them. But it does not have to be people. You can also integrate robots as part of your cases. If you are an organization working with Power Automate or UiPath or whatever, you are able to integrate those into the case and task management in Gluu.
Yeah, and maybe we should mention that you covered a little bit how to collaborate with suppliers. We actually have a full webinar on that. We also have a webinar on working with bots. These may be interesting to watch on our YouTube channel if you have a special interest in that.
Yeah.
Great. Maybe we should call it a day. I would just want to say it's been great to do these webinars. We're gonna take a summer break now. Probably be back in August with some more webinars where we'll find some more topics to talk about. All about how to make business processes more relevant for people, so you can bring in the business users, the end users, of course, this recording here will be available as always on both on LinkedIn, but also primarily on our YouTube channel. So yeah, Louise, do you have anything to add, or?
No, just that if you want more information or help setting up cases on your Gluu account, or to see what cases could do for your organization, then just reach out, and we're of course happy to give you a demonstration or to help you set up some cases.
Yeah, great. So of course what's left to say, just thank you for your attention, and have a great summer out there. Over and out. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.